Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I hope that everybody's doing great. Today, as you can see, we are going to attack my largest palettes. So last declutter, we did my smaller palettes that I keep in like little drawers. Today we are going to be attacking the big palettes that I have. I have a lot. I apologize, this video is probably going to be a little long. But I'm hoping I don't go into rants like I did on my last one. I don't promise anything though, but yeah, so we are going to be doing the larger palettes today, and I'm very excited. And I'm not gonna lie, this is going to be really hard, and I don't know how much I'm going to declutter just because I do love my palettes, but you know, I'm gonna try. Don't promise anything, but I will try. Okay, so let's get started. So these little guys right here, these actually got missed on my last little palette declutter just because I keep them in a separate place than those. I don't really keep them in drawers. And I have the Huda Beauty Ruby Obsessions, and I have the Huda Beauty Mauve Obsessions. So this one I got on the Huda Beauty mystery box that I did. And you know, guys, I will link down below and over here somewhere the videos that I talk about. So this one came in that box. I'm not really impressed by the quality of these small palettes, and I'm not really impressed with the colors of the palette either. So I am going to be passing both of these little ones along. I don't really need them in my collection, nor do I really want them in my collection. So here's what this one looks like. I actually got this one in Etsy. I think I bought it for like, I think it was like an extra $12 or something I paid for it. But yeah, I'm not really impressed by the quality or really the colors of both of those, so I am gonna pass those along. Then we have the Too Faced and Kat Von D palette that came out a while ago. And this was actually my first palette that I've ever paid full price for. I usually, when I buy my makeup, I usually try to get my makeup like on sale, or I try to get it like if I have points, or if I have some sort of discount or something. Like I always try to avoid paying full price, you know, for items. So this was actually the first time that I ever paid full price for it. I love Too Faced, and at the time I was a huge fan of the Kat Von D brand, and I love the concept of it. I mean, it's a magnetic palette and you can separate it, and it's a heart. I just loved everything about this palette. I actually went out the day that this palette launched. I went out, I think it was like the day after Christmas or something like that. So I got in my car and I went to Sephora and I picked this up, and I think actually it was like a gift from my daughter's father or something. I can't remember, but I do love the concept of it. The shadows, I'm gonna be honest, they are not like the best quality shadows for Too Faced. Too Faced has better formulas, but I love the concept of this palette. I love the fact that, you know, it was two different people collaborating, and you can see like the difference of both of them. So I am gonna keep it just because I really do love this palette a lot. And you know, it has some sort of sentimental value, so I am gonna keep it. Then I have the Disney Designer Collection by Colourpop. I told you guys on my previous video that we are Disney people in this house, so I am for sure gonna keep it. I do like it. I've used it a couple of times. I love the way that they did the drawings for all of the princesses. I think that they are just so beautiful, and my favorite one has to be Snow White. Out of all of them, Snow White is my all-time favorite. So I love the way that they made her look like she's from the 20s. I love that vintage look, so I am definitely keeping. Then we have the Urban Decay and Gwen Stefani palette, and this was one of my first high-end purchases, you guys. This was when I was first started to get into makeup, when I even, you know, started to know what Urban Decay was, because I didn't know that there was other makeup out there besides, you know, L'Oreal and CoverGirl and all of those drugstore makeups. I didn't know that this whole like other world of high-end makeup existed. I was so like not a makeup person a few years ago, but then when I started to really get into makeup and knowing what some of these brands were, this was one of my first purchases, like high-end, you can say. And I love that shade right there. That is like the most loved shade out of the whole palette. But I've played with the blue, I've played with the pink, of course all of the natural colors, all of these right here too. I really do enjoy this palette a lot, and again, when I see this palette, I think about when I was first starting to get into makeup, and it does hold sentimental value for me, so I'm definitely keeping. Next, we have the Becca Volcano Goddess palette, and this one I got at TJ Maxx, and I bought it for $16.99, and I don't know, I fell in love with this palette when I first saw it. I felt like that white shade, it's so beautiful, it's so unique. You can't really see it. You can't really see it in the pan, but it's like this shifting shade, but you don't know like what color it is. It's like gold, it's like peach, it's like blue. It has so many different colors there. I feel like that color is so beautiful. This whole palette is beautiful, so I am definitely keeping this, and this is going to be in an upcoming video soon, so yeah, I'm keeping that. Then I have two of the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palettes. I have Ring the Alarm and I have Dark Magic. So this one is Dark Magic, and this is the one that has like the greens and it has a little bit of browns. I haven't really touched this palette at all. I actually bought these two palettes because I had points from Ulta, and this was a while ago. I had a lot of points from Ulta, so I bought these palettes with those points. And I also had a gift card that was gifted to me on Christmas, I believe it was. So I bought these palettes with those things, so I didn't really spend money out of my pocket, you can say. And then this one, which is Ring the Alarm, is the one with the more orangey and yellow tones. I haven't heard anything good about these palettes, but like I said, I haven't tried them on my eyes yet. So I'm going to keep them for now until I do try them so that I can judge them for myself. But if I'm not a fan of them, then I will definitely pass them along. Then I have this Laura Lee Los Angeles. This is the Nudie Patootie palette. And if you don't know, Laura Lee is a YouTuber. And I love her videos. I love her personality. I love her family, her husband, and her niece. They're just so cute, all of them. And I do enjoy watching her videos. And I love her makeup. Like, her makeup is really good. This palette is huge. I don't know if you guys can see. It's huge and it's heavy. And the colors are just as beautiful. These are all the shades right there. This palette, I've used it a couple of times on my eyes, and the quality, I'm telling you, this palette is good. It's really good. So I'm definitely keeping. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the next batch. So first up, I have the Anastasia, Beverly Hills, and Carly Bible palette right here. This one is fairly new to my collection. I bought it not that long ago. I actually bought it like when quarantine started. I bought it and this shade arrived broken, so I kind of had to fix it myself. That's why it looks a little weird. I've played with this palette maybe like once or twice. I don't know, I was just expecting this palette to be different. I've heard a lot of really good things about it, but the few shades that I played with, I wasn't really a big fan of. I am going to keep it. I'm going to give it one more try. I'm going to play with these like really cute colors up here and see how it goes, and then I'll make my decision of whether I want to declutter it or if I want to keep it. So yeah, I am going to keep it for now just to play with it one last time to see what I actually think. Okay, then I have the Riviera Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. This palette is so pretty. I bought this palette when it first came out. I bought it off of her website, and I really loved it. I have a video on it. I did a video, I think it was like a very purple look that I created with this palette, but yeah, I will link it somewhere here so you guys can check it out if you want. But I really did love this palette, and I love the whole look of like very nautical theme to it, so I really did enjoy this palette, so I'm definitely keeping that. Then I have these two other Anastasia palettes, and these I actually purchased last Christmas. They came in like a little glittery box. Both of them came together, and they were both, I think they were like $50 both, like in that little kit they came in. And I got these with Ulta points as well. Like I used my points, like you guys don't understand, like I had so much points last Christmas that I actually didn't pay for these at all. So I have the soft glam, which is like all very neutral shades that you can use, you know, to make really pretty natural looks. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. I just haven't used it yet, so I'm keeping for sure. Plus, I keep them in that little glittery box that they came in, and I display it in my room, and it looks really pretty. I also have the Modern Renaissance, which obviously everybody and their mother knows about this palette. This used to be very, very big on YouTube for a really long time. Again, I haven't used it yet, so I am going to keep both of these. I'm going to keep them in that little box that they came in. Okay, and then I have this Soap and Glory palette, and this was actually a gift from my sister for Christmas a few years ago, and this was my go-to palette for work for a really long time. As you can see, that shade is well loved. But yeah, it's a really pretty palette. It's not like super pigmented, but I think that it's beautiful to create natural looks with. And yeah, so I think that I am going to keep it. I mean, it was a gift from my sister, so when things are gifted to me, it's really, really hard for me to let go. So I'm definitely going to keep this. And then I have the Lorac Pro, and this is, I don't think it has a name. Oh, this is the Pro 3. So, this is also a very wearable, natural look. As you can see, this is a well-loved palette. This was my go-to palette for a while for work as well. And this palette was gifted to me from my sister-in-law. And I really do like it a lot. I enjoyed this palette. It has a little bit of kickback. I don't really mind the kickback, but that's just me. But it does have a lot of kickback. But I am going to keep it. Again, like I said, when things are gifted to me, it's really hard for me to let go. So I'm going to keep that. I also have the Colourpop Whatever eyeshadow palette. First of all, yeah, leopard. I love leopard print. It's one of my favorite prints on anything. So when I saw this palette, I of course had to get it because I mean, the unicorn is leopard print. So, and plus I enjoy the colors on the inside as well. I think that I've only played with this palette maybe once. I wanted to make a video when it first came out because I bought this and I bought some other things from the same collection, and I wanted to make a video when it first came out, but again, I just didn't get to it because with work and everything, I just never got around to it. But I do want to keep it. I think that these colors are going to be great for like the fall. So I'm going to keep this palette because I really do like it. And then I have two of the Physician Formula Butter eyeshadow palettes. And I bought these because I wanted to make a video on them. And I love Physician's Formula. It's one of my favorite drugstore brands. And I use them. I use both of them. They're very good. Like the shadows are really good, with the exception of like 1 or 2 shades in each palette. And it's like the shimmer ones. Like you really have to wet your brush in order for them to show up. They're really pretty. I love the whole concept of them. They are a little bit bulky, as you can see, but I don't really mind it, to be honest. I do like them. I like them a lot. I just don't know if I want to keep both of them or if I just want to keep one. I'm going to put these aside and think about it for right now. Okay, so next batch, we have the Revolution Beauty and Emily Noel eyeshadow palette. So this is the one that comes with like the face products as well. So if you don't know Emily Noel, she's a YouTuber and I enjoy her videos a lot. I love watching her. She always does like really good videos, really good makeup, and she's super honest. Like, she is so honest with her reviews. She is a person that I can watch and, you know that the product is going to be good or not, because she, like, you can just see the honesty in her. So I love watching her. So of course I was going to support her and buy her makeup. I know a lot of people didn't really like this palette in specific, but I have to say I enjoyed it. I feel like all the face products right here are really good. For me, I loved to use this palette, especially for work, because it's not super pigmented. So if you think you're gonna get a lot of pigment out of this, no. I'm going to be honest, just like she is. This doesn't really have a lot of pigment, but I actually enjoy it for my work days because I don't really love to use heavy makeup when I go to work. So I think that this is perfect. I think that the pigmentation is just perfect for that reason, but I can see how this wouldn't be a perfect palette or a good palette for other people who do love pigmentation out of their products. But I do like it. I'm not a fan of like this shade right here, or this shade right here, to be honest with you, but I do use some of the other ones on my eyes. I feel like there was something missing in the eyeshadow department. I feel like I was missing a really good shimmer, because like I've said before, I love shimmer more than I do mattes, and all of these are mattes. And even though this one has a little bit of shimmer, when you put it on your eyes and when you swatch it, it comes out more matte than it actually does shimmer. So what's missing for me is a really good shimmer that I can put on my lid. So but other than that, I really do like this palette. I just don't know if I want to keep it or if I want to pass it along. I think that I'm going to gift this to my sister. I think that she will enjoy it a lot more, or even my mom. I think that either one of them will enjoy this palette a lot more. So I think that I am going to pass it along. Next, I have the Marc Jacobs, what is this called? The Flamboyant eyeshadow palette. And of course, it is a leopard print. So I fell in love with this palette when I first saw it. I bought it a while ago, like maybe a couple of years ago or so. I actually bought it too for that trip to Costa Rica that I went on, and I took it with me. I did take it with me, and I do enjoy the color story. I just haven't used it enough. I think that I need to use it a lot more, but of course I'm keeping it because, well, it was an expensive palette and it's Marc Jacobs, so I am going to keep this palette and keep playing with it, get my money's worth out of it. Let's see, then I have this Doll 10 eyeshadow palette, and this one I haven't even touched. I bought this for a video. I actually bought a whole kit off of HSN a while ago, and I bought it with the intention of making a video on a brand that, you know, nobody talks about. And again, because of work and because I was so busy, I just didn't get around to making that video, and I didn't even touch this palette, to be quite honest with you. I do kind of like the color story of it, even though the colors seem a little bit boring and not that great. I do kind of enjoy the color story, so I am going to keep it for now so I can use it, so I can at least see if I like it or not. If I don't, then I will pass it along. Then I have the Tarte's Pro Remix palette by Tarte, And this is a really good palette, you guys. This is really good. I love the pigment. I love the formula. I think that this is a really, really good palette. And actually, this is another palette that I didn't pay for at all. I had Ulta points. So, and this palette was on sale at the time that I got it. It was like really cheap too. Like, I want to say maybe like less than $20. So I didn't pay for this at all either. I used points. And you know, I'm thinking about doing a video in which I tell you guys my tips and tricks on how to get makeup and not, you know, break your bank with it. I am planning that video, but it's a video that I really want to like really plan, get my facts straight, like really give you really good useful information on. So I am doing my research, so I'm probably not going to film that video until I'm 100% positive that I am giving you all of my tips and all my tricks for buying makeup and not breaking your bank. So stay tuned, it's coming. I'm planning it, I'm working on it. But yeah, like I said, this is another palette that I didn't pay for. So I am definitely keeping that palette because I really do like it. Up next, we have the ABH Weekend Festival palette. And this palette is so pretty. I mean, all of the colors are beautiful. They're so, so beautiful. I remember when this palette first came out a few years ago, and I wanted it so bad, you guys. I had to drive because the only place that I could find it at was Kohl's, and I had to drive like an hour away just to get this palette. But it was like the big thing on YouTube at the time, so of course I got suckered into it. But it is a very pretty palette, and I love the color story, so I am gonna keep it. Then I have the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette, and this palette is also another palette that holds sentimental value for me. This was a gift from my daughter's dad for my 30th birthday. So it has sentimental value, and I am for sure gonna keep it. But you know, you can see this palette is well loved. This was my palette that I would go to for shimmers for a really long time, and every time that I use this palette on my eyes, I get a lot of compliments. Like, this is a really good palette. This color right here, beautiful. And you can find it sometimes at TJ Maxx or Marshalls, so if you do, I definitely recommend this palette. It's really good. And then lastly, I have this Elf and Jasmine beauty book. I don't know if you guys remember, but these books were sold at Walgreens for a while, a long time ago. And every so often they would release a new one. So they had a bunch of them. I think they had one with Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I think they had an Ariel one, if I'm not mistaken. I think they had a Cinderella one. They had this one from Jasmine. They had the villains. I think they had Maleficent, if I'm not wrong. I think I had the Maleficent one. That was one that I decluttered when I gave the stuff to my mom. And so I have this one, which I think the only things that I used were the, I don't even know if this is a bronzer or blush, but these two were the only two things from this palette that I used. And I kept it for a while just because Jasmine is my favorite Disney princess, or one of my favorite Disney princesses. But, you know, I'm tired of keeping things just because of the way they look or something. Like, I actually want to get use out of it, so I think that I am going to pass it along just because I know that I'm not going to use it, so I'm going to pass it along. Okay, so moving on to the next few palettes here. Let's start with these Perfusion palettes that I have right here. I have two of them. I have the Temptress palette and I have the Metallics palette. And I think that I bought these at Target when Target had the Perfusion line. They did have the Perfusion line for a while, but at least all of the Targets in my area don't have Perfusion anymore. They took the line out. I don't know why, because it was always empty. So I don't think that it was because people weren't buying. I think maybe because they weren't getting product often enough, because they were always like empty. Like, the shelves were always empty. So that has to mean that people were buying, right? But I don't know what happened. But yeah, it's no longer at my Targets. but I can't find it at Walmart. Walmart does have them. So I bought these. I think they were on sale. I think these palettes were either $10 or $15, and I got them on sale for $5. And I wanted to get them because I wanted to try the Perfusion formula just to see how good they are, because people do talk about Perfusion a lot on YouTube, and I kind of wanted to, you know, try it out and see what I thought of it. I think it was one of these. I can't remember. I think it was this one. I think it was this Temptress palette that I saw. Ali Glines, she's also a YouTube a makeup YouTuber, and I think she used this palette, and she used this color right here on an eye look, and I thought that was like the most beautiful shade ever. So I hunted the palette down, but I never got to use it. And then I got this one, which is called the Metallics, and this one has a lot of shimmers. Let me see. They're brand new, you guys. Like, I haven't even used these. This one seems like it has a lot of really pretty colors too, but they all seem to be shimmery. Like, there isn't a single matte shade in this palette. They're all shimmery. But I haven't tried them yet, and that makes me really, really sad. I was only gonna keep one. Of them, but looking at them, I really want to keep the metallics for sure. I want to keep this one, and I kind of wanted to give this one away, but that blue shade, I bought this palette specifically because of that blue shade, and now I don't know what I want to do with it. I'm gonna put it aside for now and think about it, okay? I have a few palettes on the side that I'm thinking about. But I am for sure going to keep the metallics one. This one does look very pretty. I'm going to keep it at least just to try it, because like I said, I haven't tried the formula or anything, so I'm going to keep it for that reason. Then I have the Pure and Barbie palette here, and this one is a very pretty palette. I know a lot of people didn't really like it or enjoy it much, but I'm sorry if you can see me right here. I am wearing a towel on my head. Yes, don't look at it. I just took a shower. But yeah, going back to the palette, I really did like this palette. I like this palette a lot, and I love the packaging. I loved the concept of it, so I'm gonna keep it. Then I have these two Norvina palettes. I have the Norvina, I think this is the number 3. Yeah, this is volume 3. And when these big Norvina palettes came out, I wasn't really a fan of the volume 1 or volume 2. I didn't really, you know, like them that much. But when volume 3 came out, I was like, oh my gosh, no, I need to have that. First of all, packaging, beautiful. And then the inside, look at all those bright neon colors. Like, I knew that I had to have it. Unfortunately, I haven't used it on my eyes yet, but this was a gift from my mom for Christmas last year, and I just haven't gotten around to using it. But of course, as a gift, you know how I feel about my gifts. I need to keep them, and I'm in love with that palette, so I'm for sure keeping it. And then I have the Norvina volume 4, which is the one that just came out, and I did a video on this, and you guys know how I feel about it if you watch that video. I really do love this palette. It's so pretty. And this is another palette that I didn't pay full price for. These palettes are $60, you guys. I paid half of that. And I'm going to tell you how on that video that I'm talking about, in which I'm going to tell you how to save money. It's coming up. Get excited, because I do have to say that I'm proud of the fact that I know how to save money on makeup. That I can tell you. But yeah, let's move on. I have the Physicians Formula and Casey Holmes collection right here, and if you guys don't know who she is, that is her right there, her lovely face. She's so beautiful. I love her channel. Her channel is amazing. She just had a baby and he is adorable, And of course, I love Physicians Formula. I love all of these 3 products right here. This highlight is extremely glittery, so if you don't like glitter in your face, you're not gonna like it. But I feel like this whole thing right here is so beautiful. The eyeshadows, however, I am not the biggest fan of the eyeshadows. I just, when I look at them, I feel like it's Christmas time. I don't feel like these are shadows that I can wear on my everyday normal life. I'm not, you know, like these types of like reds and like clay type of colors, I'm not a huge fan of either. So I wish that she would have like done different shades or different colors, but it is what it is. The lipstick, I'm not a huge fan of these. They smell really good and they're extremely buttery. I mean, they got it right with the butter collection. They're so soft, they're extremely buttery, they smell good, they smell super good, like they smell, I think, like passion fruit. But because they're so but because they are so buttery, when the product gets in your mouth, because you know, when you're wearing lipstick or something, you're bound to get it a little bit in your mouth, it has the worst taste, at least in my opinion. It tastes so gross, it's so bitter, and I can taste it throughout the day that I'm wearing it. Like, it's definitely not my favorite formula. If I ever wear them, I tap them with my finger and tap them on my lips and use very little of it. I can't just go on with the whole tube and just put it on. But I do enjoy the colors, so, and I do love the perfume as well. The perfume is really good. If you love coconut scented things, you will for sure love the perfume. And I know Ulta had these for a while. I'm not sure if Ulta has them anymore, but at least my Walmart just got these and they have a bunch of them. So they are still around. You can still get your hands on them. I am gonna keep it, but what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna try to get these out of here. I'm not a fan of the shadows, so I'm not gonna keep the shadows. But the face stuff I am going to keep. I'm going to try to get them out of the box and into a magnetic pan of some sort. And of course keep these. But I don't know, the eyeshadows I'm just not in love with. So I might take them out of here and see if somebody wants them. Like my, you know, somebody from my family if they want them. But I'm not really a fan of them. So, but I am going to keep the face products. I just don't need this whole thing, so I'm gonna take them out of there. Okay, so moving on to the next batch, we have the Tati Beauty Volume 1 eyeshadow palette, and this palette is so beautiful, and it's a heavy palette. Like, you talk about luxury, this palette has it. Like, this is a beautiful, beautiful palette. I love all, like, the whole concept of this palette. I love Tati. I love her channel. I feel so sad for everything that's happening with her right now. If you guys watched her last video, in which she kind of explains a little bit of why she hasn't been around for a while, when she talks about like the launch of this palette, it breaks my heart. It makes me really, really sad. So this is something that I'm going to keep forever. I love her, and I hope that she comes back soon. I don't know if she's ever gonna come back. It makes me really sad because she was one of the first people that I ever started watching on YouTube, makeup related. And I've been a follower of hers since then, and I've watched her grow so much from when she was in her room in her apartment to now having her own beauty room, and it breaks my heart, everything that's happening to her. But I am gonna keep this because I love it. Like, I genuinely love the product, but I also love her, so I am definitely gonna keep that. Then we have two of these Zodiac and BH Cosmetics palettes. I have the original Zodiac and I have the Love Signs palette, And I have to tell you guys that I love these palettes. I created a look because I was trying to get in their PR list, and they were having like a contest of like, you know, getting PR for like a year or something, and I created this look with using both of these, using the original and the love signs, and it was the first time that I had used them. Oh my gosh, that eyeshadow look came out so beautiful. Like, I genuinely love this palette so much. So I'm for sure gonna keep it, and it has like everything you could possibly need. It has mattes and it has shimmers, it has a highlight. It's a beautiful palette, so I am for sure gonna keep it. Same thing with the Love Signs palette. It's just so beautiful. I love it a lot, so I'm for sure keeping it. Then I have two of the Colourpop and Becky G palettes. I love Becky G. If you don't know who she is a singer and an actress. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think the last movie she did was the Power Rangers movie. She was the yellow Power Ranger. And she makes music both in English and Spanish, although she's been more in the Spanish music lately. But she is amazing. Like, I love her so much. So I'm for sure gonna keep both of these. This is the Salvaje palette, which is the first one that she did with Colourpop. The colors are beautiful. And then this is the Hola, Chola Colourpop palette, which I love, like, the whole design of it. It brings me back to when I was 13, living in Boston. That's what this whole thing brings me back to. And it's an all matte palette. And I'm not a huge fan of the mattes, but I love her, so I'm definitely keeping those. And then I have the Berries and Cream from Dominique Cosmetics. I also have this in a video, and this palette is beautiful. Like, I was so impressed with the quality of this palette, both the actual palette and the shadows themselves. Like, this is a heavy duty palette. Like, this is heavy duty, and it's so good. Like, the quality of the shadows are amazing, so I'm for sure keeping this. And she's also a YouTuber, Dominique, Kristen Dominique, I believe her name is. I'm not too familiar with her channel, but I did wanted to try her makeup, and it did not disappoint. This is a beautiful palette. Okay, so this is an interesting pile that I have here. As you can see, mostly everything's from Jeffree Star. So let's start with the Alien palette by Jeffree Star. And this is a very pretty palette. The colors are not colors that I would normally wear, but that's what I love about it. And I love, like, the palette itself is so beautiful. I actually got this palette in a mystery box. I believe it was the last mystery box that he did. And it was the cheapest box, you guys. This was in the cheapest box. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw this, because I have been wanting this palette for a really long time, and he discontinued it, and it was always sold out everywhere, and I could never get my hands on it. And then when I bought that mystery box, the last thing that I thought was going to be in that box was this palette. So I was so excited about it. I know that the makeup world right now is very upset with Jeffree Star, but we have to admit that his makeup is really good. Yeah, some of the stuff that he did, or most of the stuff that he does, is shitty, but I'm gonna keep it because, you guys, I spent money on, you know, my stuff. Like, I work really hard for my things, and I don't want to just throw them in the trash or, you know, any of that. So I am for sure gonna keep my Jeffree Star stuff because I genuinely do love the quality of the makeup, even though I know how we feel about the person, but the makeup I really do like. And, you know, like I said, I work really hard for my things, and I am gonna keep them because I do like them, so I'm definitely keeping. I also have the Blue Blood, which was also in a mystery box, and all of the shades are like blue, all different types of blue, and then a little bit of like natural colors right there. I am gonna keep it. Then we have the Conspiracy palette that he did with Shane Dawson. Again, we all know how we all feel about Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star right now, but like I said, I do work hard for my money, and I am going to be keeping it. I am going to be using it because I do like it. Then we have the Conspiracy, the mini Conspiracy, and this was actually the new one with the green shade. I bought this when it relaunched because that green shade is amazing and I knew that I wanted it. And the reason why I bought, because I do have the other mini Controversy palette, but the reason why I decided to buy the whole palette instead of just buying the little green shade is because my daughter, she was a Shane Dawson fan, and she wanted the mini Controversy, and so I have promised it to her. I promised her that when this one launched with the green shade, I was gonna give her my other one. So, you know, I have to keep my promise. So I bought the whole palette that came with the green shade, and I gifted the other one to my daughter. I have the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. I also did a video on this palette, and I love this palette. I think it's amazing. It's beautiful. It doesn't compare to the little ones that I declutter at first. It's a really beautiful palette, so I'm for sure keeping it.